everybody, and welcome to part 3 of Is it really made in the United States? I'm not sure. If you take a look at this Earthquake Power 200X, I'm not really sure, and it really doesn't say it's made in the USA. It just says it's born in the USA. So let's take a look at this thing. Let's find out what it really is and what makes it tick, and is it really any good? I mean, that's really what we care about. So we have to dig back to the 1996 Car Audio and Electronics directory to find this amp. And as you can see, it's rated at 60 by 2, and it was 239 bucks, which isn't too bad. All right, well, we got this budget banger. So as you can see, this amp was only 236 bucks when it was new. And while that may sound significant by today's standards, but in 1996, 236 bucks really wasn't too bad. So, you're wondering what this thing is? Well, this amp, like a lot of amps back in the day, this thing's rated obviously 60 by 2, but it was what they called tri-mode capable. So it can run what they call mixed mono. And so we literally have this thing bridged to a subwoofer and running some three-way satellites on this thing. And we'll go into a little bit more detail in another video of how this actually works. But due to the cutoff frequencies and whatever, it's totally safe. It puts it in what would be probably like a 2-ohm stereo mode. And let's see how this little 60 watt a channel amp works running a full system. One 12-inch subwoofer, got a little kicker down here. So let's turn this thing up and let's see what it'll do. I'm pretty impressed with what this thing can do. And I remember back in the day, I would go do some competitions once in a while with a Punch 45, and I'd run it in tri-mode, and it was really impressive what that little thing would do. So you guys want to see what kind of power this thing makes, and then we'll open it up, take a look inside, see if this thing really is American made, that born in the USA kind of thing. So let's dyno this thing, see what it'll do. All right, straight off the streets of San Francisco, we've got the Earthquake. We got 4 ohms stereo, both channels are loaded. See what this thing will do. Rated 60 watts a channel. Looks like we got 69 watts, 14.4 volts. Not bad. All right, so we got it loaded down to 2 ohms stereo, 14.4 volts. Looks like we got 109 watts. Let's bridge this thing. Let's see what it'll do. All right, we got this thing 4 ohms bridged. I didn't see any ratings for this thing, so I'm not sure what it's going to make. I'm assuming it's going to be double the 2 ohms, so this thing should be making 200 watts. I'm not sure, but let's give it a shot. Let's find out. Looks like we got 213 watts. That's not bad. I'm pretty impressed. So that's kind of about the power output that this thing would have been doing when we were running it in the mixed mono. So let's find out what kind of dynamic headroom this thing's got. So we're going to go 40 hertz bridged dynamic. Let's see what this thing will do. Looks like we got 268 watts, so this thing definitely has some dynamic headroom. So I'm pretty impressed with this little guy. All right, well, we got this earthquake cracked open, and for the sake of science, I have removed the hold downs, and we've got the Pt.3 output transistors, and those are an NPN BJT. It's not a MOSFET on the output, it's a MOSFET on the power supply. I didn't look to see what those were. It's kind of a pain to get these things out. So anyways, these are actually fairly sturdy output transistors, 100 volt, 25 amp. The 125 watt is a dissipation rating, and that kind of doesn't say that, oh, this is for 125 watts, but it just kind of gives you the how robust those transistors are. And those are pretty decent, obviously capable of 100 watts a channel. So anyways, this thing's got, what the hell were these things? Samyang capacitors. I believe they're 35 volt, 2200 microfarad, which are probably the most common in this type of car audio stuff. You do see the earthquake screen printed on the board. I'm wondering if this is a Korean amplifier. A lot of stuff was back in these days. I don't see anything that says made in the USA other than the born in the USA. But let me show you something kind of interesting. Somebody's put a capacitor right here, and this is on the ground, and I don't know where the other leg, oh, it's across the power and the ground here. So that's what this capacitor kind of is. These are filter caps. These things filter any electrical noise that may be coming from your car electrical system. So somebody's added a cap to it. I don't know how common that was back in the day, but anyways, so that's kind of interesting. So if you guys want, you can pause the video, take a look at this thing. But it's a pretty cool looking amp. Put out some good power. All right, so I hope you guys are having fun with this series, because I sure am. So I'm going to give you my evaluation of this amp. I think it sounded really good. I think this is really a nice amp. And I remember back in the day that these amps were pretty sought after. I don't remember if we had any local dealers or not, but I mean, you can look at the specs on this thing and they look really good. And so, for example, this amp, they're both from about the same time period. And, this Orion is big and clunky and crappy and whatever. And I'm going to say that, albeit most likely was kind of made in the United States, the earthquake was rated at less, okay? It made 69 per channel. At 2 ohms, it made 109. Bridged, it made 213. And dynamically, made 268. So, the earthquake kicked the cheap Orion's butt, okay? And these amps were pretty comparably priced. I'm going to say that they were in the same thing. If not, the Orion was maybe slightly more. So I'm totally impressed. At this point, I don't even care if it's made in the United States or born in the USA. But hey, you know what? If you find one of these or any of these line of amps, I'm telling you, I think they're pretty quality. It did what it said it did in true value of its day. Made 10, 15%, 20% more, dynamically kicked butt. I would like to see this thing go head to head against like a Punch 75. Maybe we'll make that happen. So, I mean, it literally is Punch 45 sized. I mean, it is actually, I don't know if they planned this, but it is almost, it's the same width and it's a little wider, just mainly because of the way the heatsink goes on it, but it is the same size as a Punch 45. What you guys want to see these guys fight it out? I'd love to see that. So anyways, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that stuff. Really appreciate it. Catch you next time.